Hey folks, Quill18 here, and welcome to a very different kind of video. I'm going to try to keep this short because we simply don't have a lot of information about what I'm going to talk about. Paradox Development Studios, who are the company that make Crusader Kings and the Europa Universalis series and a bunch of other things, are, well, of course they're working on all kinds of games, probably, but they've specifically been teasing us about this one game they're working on that they've codenamed Project Augustus. And we didn't know much about it. They did point out that it was going to be a new IP, so it wasn't a sequel to anything they'd ever done before. And there have been a few teasers here and there that have hinted that it might be a science fiction-based game. And I think the official announcement from Paradox is coming out, I think tomorrow, very, very soon now. But Steam accidentally seems to have released the product page for Stellaris slightly too early. And a bunch of people were able to grab screenshots and information from this page, and it's made the rounds all over the web. People have been tweeting me about it. It was on Reddit. It's on a bunch of gaming news sites. It's all over the place that apparently this Project Augustus is actually a game called Stellaris, and that is a grand strategy game in space. A grand strategy game is a game, it tends to be a real-time game where you manage a nation or a dynasty or something like that from the top to the bottom, basically. You deal with all the politics, the diplomacy, the economy, and you're also moving troops around and managing on multiple layers. It is a simulation of like an entire entity, like a country, in full scope, as opposed to your standard sort of what you might call a 4X game. That might be 4X game would be something like Civilization or Galactic Civilization or Master of Orion, which is more turn-based and may not be quite as nitty-gritty and detailed in every single way. The grand strategy games from Paradox tend to be very involved in very detail, and presumably they're trying to bring that type of expertise to a science fiction setting. And I gotta say, from the screenshots, things are looking pretty damn gorgeous over here. This looks like it's the main game screen. Obviously, this is an alpha version screenshot that was leaked early. And if you're used to the Paradox games, you can see some familiar things. The outliner, you can see here, it is paused. It implies that it is a real-time kind of game. We've got a variety of resources across the top, for example, that, I don't know, may or may not be some familiar things. We don't know yet. And the map here, and of course, there's going to be, when you're going from an Earth-based setting to a space-based setting, the map is going to be pretty remarkably different. And this is the first Paradox Development Studio grand strategy game that's not like a province-based map. Although there are, mechanically, as a programmer, certain similarities in terms of how you move in, say, EU4 or CK2 or Victoria or Hearts of Iron from one province to another. Well, it's not that dissimilar from moving from one star to another, for example. Seems to be some sort of political map mode here. Cool little zoomed in screenshot over here. The Paradox games do tend to support pretty diverse zoom levels, from right out to where you can see the full globe to zoomed in on a single province where you can see an army marching around or fighting. So it doesn't surprise me that we get to see some pretty wicked zoom levels going on here. Looks like we do have some commands in the bottom right corner that may be a little different from some of the other Paradox games. They might be a little bit more active. Some interesting buttons down here as well, which may be hotkeys to something, maybe pop-ups letting you know about something. Obviously, this is still an alpha, so the whole interface may change. Discovery of special things. Look like exploration is going to be a big deal here, which I like a lot. Just love the whole look of this. I have no idea how this is going to play, but I'm very, very, very pumped. And anyway, I'm just addressing this because tons of people, there have been some tweets about it, and certainly during today's live stream, a lot of people were asking me questions about this, and so I don't have an opinion about it because I don't know anything about the game yet. I don't have any insider information whatsoever about this title. Although, if I'm to be honest, it had been hinted to me at a few press events in the past by certain people that there may have been a sci-fi based title being developed over at Paradox. But that's pretty much it. And so at this point, that's basically been confirmed. And I have no idea how it's going to play, but it looks cool. I'm certainly very pumped to find out the actual news about it. So if you're interested, do make sure to go over to the Paradox website and keep a sharp eye on them for some actual news about this game. Probably there's going to be a ton more details coming out there, and I'm really looking forward to more news. One of the exciting bits, and obviously, again, this is an accidental leak. None of this may be accurate information. This release date of February of 2016 is very, very compelling because that's only 8 months away, and a lot of times Paradox games get announced far earlier than that in their sort of development cycle, right? if I'm not mistaken, EU4 was announced a year before it was released. Hearts of Iron 4 definitely was. And when they did the initial announcement, I mean, there wasn't really any real gameplay they could show or anything like that. Like, they couldn't show in a lot of these types of screenshots. So I do know that one of the things Paradox has done is they have tried to... They got burned a couple of times with announcing a title that then got canceled later on. And so I know they talked about not announcing titles too early anymore. So I guess that's the case here. They really wanted to make sure that they were confident that the game was going to be released and was in a solid state before they announced it, because, yeah, an 8-month waiting period is really not that long in the gaming world. Most companies do like to do a lot more hype for a lot longer than that. So, like I said, I'm going to be paying careful attention to this. Really, really, really excited for it. Best place for news is probably at the Paradox website, which I believe is at paradoxplaza.com. I'll have links down below. Alternatively, you might be interested in going to reddit.com/r/paradoxplaza, the subreddit for Paradox games over there on Reddit, and they're usually pretty up on information, and they're a good place to get news announcements about this sort of thing. So I'll have some links down below for you guys, but I am super mega pumped and hyped about this because I've been dying for Paradox to try their hand at sci-fi for a long time. And, you know, maybe it'll be really different from what they do. Maybe it won't work out, or maybe it'll be one of the greatest sci-fi games there's ever been. We have no way of telling, and isn't that exciting? I gotta say, I like the user interface, though. Really cool, and some of the planet effects. I suspect these things will probably be animated as well, which I think will really add a lot to the effect. Whoo! So it's not Rome 2, and yet I'm okay with that. See you next time, folks. Bye-bye.